Hello guys and welcome to my channel. It's your girl Ijoma Fab. So guys, I'm so excited this morning. I just realized that we hit 1k subscriber count. So I want to use this medium to appreciate everyone for their love and support. To all my returning subscribers and the new subscribers, thank you so much and God bless you. So guys, today I'll be showing you how to make a half circle skirt with a pocket. So the skirt I'll be making today is going to be fully lined. So to achieve a half circle, we have a formula which says radius equal to circumference over pi. So we're going to put our measurement into this. So radius is equal to circumference. So the circumference I'm working with is the waist circumference, which is 36 inches, divided by pi. So this pi here is 3.142. So this 3.142 is a constant. So this is the formula in mathematics. So the next thing to do now, you say radius is equal to 36 divided by 3.14. So that's going to give me 11.5. So that's 11.5 inches. So the radius I'll be working with is going to be 11.5 inches. So now we have our radius to work with. So the next step is to know what to fold in order not to waste the fabric. So you're going to add the length you're working with. For instance, the skirt length I'll be working with is 27 inches. So when I add 27 inches plus 11.5 inches, so 38.5. So that's going to be what we're going to fold. So now we know that when we want to fold our fabric, we're going to fold by 38.5 inches. So you could decide to make it a round figure. You could decide to make it 39 inches or 40 inches. So guys, like I said, I'll be making this with a pocket. So there are two ways you can cut this, with a pocket or without a pocket. So if you're going to cut without a pocket, your skirt is going to come out in one piece. So meaning the front and the back will be together. So this is what I mean. If I wasn't cutting with a pocket, I'm going to fold my fabric this way, then this way on bias, just like this. Then I'll be marking the radius this way, and I'll take the length this way and cut out. So by the time I open up, I'll be having the front and the back together as a piece. So cutting with a pocket, you're going to take your fabric this way. So it's going to come as front piece and back piece separately. So you're going to fold your fabric on bias like this for the front panel and the back panel. So it's going to come this way. You're going to take the radius here. You take the length this way and you cut out. So by the time you cut out, you have your front panel separate. You'll be doing the same thing to the back panel. Only difference is that the back panel will have a zipper allowance. So let's go straight to cut directly on the fabric. So I'll be illustrating on the floor here because my table can't contain the fabric. So the first thing you need to watch out for is the type of fabric or the pattern on your fabric that you're going to work with. So I have a border here, I have a pattern here. So I have to be careful when cutting out the flare. So meaning that I have to make sure that this pattern stays at the bottom part of the flare. Now to fold the flare, I'm going to fold in a bias form or in a triangular form. So you're just going to pick up your fabric from this edge here, this way, and fold like this. So guys, you can see the way I folded this. I'll be starting from this point. I'm going to mark my waist radius here, and my length will go this way because of the pattern, this border pattern I have on the fabric. So I hope we understand. So at this point, I'll be marking my waist radius. So the waist radius is 11.5 inches, plus I need 1 inch for side seam allowance. So that will be 12.5 inches. So I'll place my tape this way and mark 12.5 inches round here. So after marking this, I'll connect. So to be sure of what we have, you simply place your tape this way and check what you have. So I have 10 inches here. So I'm supposed to have 9 inches, which is the waist radius, plus 1 inch for the side seam allowance. So I'm on point. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take the length. So I'm going to take the length this way. So the length I'm working with is 27 inches. So I'll place my tape like this and mark the length. So the next thing to do is to connect this marking. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut this out. So the next thing to do now is to cut out the back panel. So I'll be using the front panel to cut the back panel. The only difference between the front and the back is the zipper allowance. So this is the front panel which I just cut out. I placed it on top of the back panel and I have a zipper allowance here of 1 inch here. So I have 1 inch here, and the next thing to do is just to trace out what I have here and cut it out, and our back panel is ready. So if you don't want to fix your zipper at the center back, you could decide to fix your zipper at the side using your side seam allowance. So this is the front panel, and when I open it up, this is how it looks like. I have the back panel here. So the back panel is supposed to be in 2 pieces. So this is one piece and this is the other piece. So I've gone ahead to use my fabric panels to cut out a lining. So this skirt is going to be fully lined. So I have the lining panels here for both the front and the back panels. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to attach this to the fabric. So to cut our pocket, we'll be needing 4 pieces for both panels of the skirt. So I'm going to place my hand like this, not straight, but slanting like this, making sure I have about 1.5 inches space between my fingers, and the pocket opening here should be about 8 inches, so that after sewing, I'll have about 7 inches to accommodate my hand. So I'm going to place my hand like this, and I already have 8 inches here marked out. So my fingers are going to be like this, and I'm going to trace out. So I'm going to connect from here round to this other end. So when doing this, you need to make sure that your pocket is deep enough, because you don't want your pocket bulging out after sewing. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut this out. So I'm going to use this to cut out the remaining pocket panels. So this is how my panels look like after sewing with the lining. So the next thing to do now is to fix the pocket. So I'm going to open it up this way. So this is the front panel, and this is my pocket here. Placing it right side of the pocket, facing the right side of the fabric. So from the waist, you're going to come down with about 2 or 3 inches. So I came down from the waist with 2 inches and placed my pocket this way. And the next thing I'm going to do now is to sew with the seam allowance. So whatever seam allowance you have, that's what you're going to use to sew down this pocket to your fabric. And I'll be doing the same thing to this end here. So after sewing, the next thing you're going to do is to open it up, give it a good press, and top stitch on the pocket. So I have my back panels here, which I have already sewn and top stitched. So it should look like this after sewing. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to close up the sides. So I'll be placing the back panels on top of the front panel. So after placing the panels together, the next thing you're going to do now is to sew up with the seam allowance. So I'm going to sew up with the 1 inch seam allowance which I have. So when I get to the pocket, I'm going to divert like this, sew up the pocket area with 1/2 inch all through. And when I get here to meet up with the 1 inch again, I'm going to continue sewing with my 1/8 seam allowance to the end. I'll be repeating the same thing to the other end there. And for the zipper allowance, I'm going to be closing up the zipper allowance and leave about 8 to 7 inches for the zipper area. So you could go ahead also to fix your band and fix your zipper. For the hem, so it's advisable to use an interlocking machine to weave it first before you hem the bottom part. So this is how to make a half circle skirt. So I'll be joining a half bodice to the waist of this skirt. So this is supposed to be a gown. So I wouldn't be adding a zipper right now or a waistband. So I hope this video was helpful to someone out there. Please like, share and subscribe.